What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 307 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB and Deej coming at you with a fun show on deck. We got NLL to dive into. We got some very fun news from the PLL and some unfortunate news for a friend of the network that will not be partaking in Champ Series due to an injury. But we'll get into all of that. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Deej, we're 6 followers from 100 on TikTok. Very, very close. So hopefully we hit that this weekend. So follow us on the talk and all of our socials. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star review. It really does help the show continue to grow, helps more people find our entire network as a whole, lets us, hit new milestones, and allows us to do more dope stuff for and with you guys. So go subscribe wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. And of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Most effective and direct way to help us continue growing as a company. Every single piece of video content we put out goes on our YouTube channel. Full video episodes of this show every week, live streams, original video content, every show on our network. It's all on the YouTube channel, and we are currently sitting at 726 subscribers as of this portion of the recording. Keep subscribing. Still trying to get to 800 before the end of the month. So go subscribe, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And, of course, get your merch. phiapparel.co is the place to get it. We said last week that if you're going to Champ Series and you're wearing OTB merch and you show us that you're subscribed, we're going to hook you up in some way or form. We're still conjuring up ideas, but it's going to happen. So go get your merch. phiapparel.co is the site. Gear up for Champ Series, your favorite NLL team. Rep OTB when you're going to your lacrosse games, when you're shooting around in the backyard. Maybe you're getting ready for your high school season. Who doesn't want to shoot around in an OTB hoodie in those colder months that begin at the beginning of the season? Go to phiapparel.co. Get your OTB shirts and hoodies, Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast merch, Philly sports merch if you're a Philly sports fan. And when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off of your orders. It's the most effective and direct way to support us and everything we're doing here at Underground Sports Philadelphia and for OTB. So get your merch, phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND for 10% off. And Deej's OTB hoodie is going to look pretty fire with this hat I got on right now. If you're watching on the YouTube, shout out to the homies over at TLN. Hooked your boy up with the Black Script Lacrosse Network snapback, John. That looks absolutely clean. But wait, Deej. But wait. They got one for you, too!
You waited. Oh, I'm going to cry.
Shout out to Poolskis and the boys over at TLN for hooking up the pod with some TLN merch. Hat's absolutely fire. Fits perfectly.
I was thinking about getting the blue one, but
I know they got that blue one dropping on Friday.
I might just hold off now.
But this thing is thangin'. Goes with everything. It's like a cream color, too. It's not exactly white. It's like a little off-white, like cream color with the black.
Mm-hmm.
Goes with everything.
Everything.
So fire. Shout out to TLN. I'm sure everyone that listens to this podcast is already following them. If you're not, go follow the boys. Did you see Poolski's tweet the other day, though? it might have been an Instagram post, but something. This man got every original Pokemon card framed.
Yeah,
I was like, bro, I am beyond jealous.
that's next level stuff.
That was
not that far in anything.
insane.
I can't collect that much of anything.
Dude, I was so jealous as an OG Pokemon stan to where every single day I bring it up to my parents. I'm like, y'all should have invested. Y'all should have got some stock in Game Freak, Konami, whatever it may have been at the time, Nintendo, because I was and still am. I still play Pokemon games to this day. Still play the trading card game when I'm chilling. I was a fiend. That framed image of the original Pokemon cards was so sick. And then did you see his bracelet he got too? Off of Etsy, I think.
I did not see the bracelet.
It's a bracelet with all original 8 gym badges.
Oh, that's sick.
It's so sick.
That's sick.
I was like, my guy just gets it. The ones that get it, get it. The ones that don't, they just don't.
And that's okay.
And I think Pokemon is one of the coolest things that has become like a timeless piece of pop culture in the last however long, 30 plus years. That no matter how old or how young you are, you can pick up a console and play Pokemon and you're vibing.
And collect cards. And the whole thing is still very live.
Pokemon Go, like...
Pokemon Go was a time.
Bro, do you remember
Pokemon
OG era Pokemon Go, like 2016?
Yes.
Everyone talks about Summer 16, like the Drake album, like that summer was just amazing. Bro.
It was.
Pokemon Go is what I remember from Summer 16. Fucking us going down to the Jersey Shore, like the actual Jersey Shore, not the one from the show, and going down to like Ocean City, me and the boys on the boardwalk at like 11 o'clock at night. Boardwalk was flooded with people. I forget if I told you this story. There was some dude on a bike going up and down the boardwalk the one night we were down there, had like a boombox wrapped around his bike, just blasting the Pokemon TV show theme song. It was a vibe, and everyone was just chilling, playing Pokemon Go, having fun. I was like, this is it was like the proper society meme where it's like, if this happened, this would be the world. And it was just a perfect society. It was amazing.
I miss Pokemon Go. That summer was a next level summer. I mean, that was right before my senior year of high school. So like football, music, fun, friends, Pokemon Go. Like outside of the Drake album, because I don't really like Drake, music was at a top tier. Like it has pretty much progressively declined since then. 2016, I was like heavy into lacrosse too. I had no clue pro was going on, but like I was super into college. I rewatched the North Carolina Maryland championship like 12 times that summer. That was the first one I saw though. So like I still rewatch that one to this day. So if you ever need a good college game to watch, 2016 national championship, North Carolina, Maryland, Chris Cloutier doing his thing, beating Kyle Bernlohr like he's done so many times in his career, OT game winner. I still remember where I was sitting the day of that game. So, yeah, that summer was next level, and I don't think it'll ever get better than Pokemon Go.
We had Pokemon Go. The Beyonce Lemonade album came out in 2016. The Cubs won the World Series. The long-standing national nightmare of that. The Harry Potter universe expanded with Fantastic Beasts. The Harambe memes. Harambe was 2016.
Oh, Harambe.
Unreal year of superhero movies. Batman vs. Superman, Deadpool, Suicide Squad, Captain America, Doctor Strange. Hulk Hogan took down Gawker.
Bro, 16 was lit.
Hamilton.
16 was lit. We're never going to get a year like that again.
It was nuts. Leonardo DiCaprio won his Oscar.
Dang,
What
the
a
world
year.
has been a steady decline since then.
What a year.
Rip to life.
Let's get into it. We had ourselves not a great week of picks in terms of lacrosse in week 8 of the NLL season, but good games nonetheless, regardless. The New York Riptide did that fucking New York Riptide thing that we should have seen coming because we talked about it.
Yep.
And they did it again. And
Right.
they go to Banditland and win 15-13. Toronto, the one team that helped us not look like absolute imbeciles last week, pull out a 12-9 victory over the Georgia Swarm. Lyle Thompson scores his 300th career goal in style. That was a nasty, nasty goal in the best way possible of using the word nasty.
I mean, that was when my tweet came out. I couldn't help it. But that's just the most Lyle Thompson NLL goal you're going to find. Swim dodge across the face, getting across the crease, going airborne, faking out the
on
goal.
Rosie, nonetheless.
It's just everything. If I could break down a Lyle Thompson lacrosse play in a box game, it is that. And that is what I would show everybody. This is the greatness of box lacrosse. This right here. And then you flip over, and that's coming off of the game the night before where you see that was just physical. And it's just this weekend was the perfect example of why lacrosse is an amazing sport. From the physicality to the strength to the skill to guys like Lyle Thompson.
We posted Lyle's 300th career goal on TikTok. It's one of our most viewed videos.
Love that.
San Diego does the unthinkable and doubles up the once undefeated Albany Firewolves. And I saw a hilarious tweet that said, water greater than fire. And the Seals go on the road and beat the Albany Firewolves 14-7. And I saw a tweet from friend of the program, hopefully soon to be guest on this show, Teddy Jenner, that said, is everything okay in Albany? Because this looks like last year's Firewolves. And that was not ideal to see the comparison of what we've seen through the first 6 games of this Firewolves team up until last week to then be compared to last year's team that won 3 games all year.
Not a good comparison, but I think a little bit of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, what it looked more so to me was an off night. It wasn't that they weren't creating opportunities. It wasn't that they were playing bad defense. Just simply San Diego capitalized off of the shots that they got, and Albany couldn't. Mm-hmm. They just couldn't get past Chris Oligurieri, who had a fantastic game. That's the first part of this. Is Oligurieri was unreal, much like he was in that year after the COVID series that you saw War on the Floor. When he had to step in for Frank, he was fantastic. That is what he looked like Saturday night. He was a literal brick wall, and it was you had to shoot into the smallest of windows perfectly to get it in the net, and that's just not going to happen too many times. Albany created good shots, had good offense, played solid defense in transition. They simply just couldn't capitalize when they needed to, and San Diego did. I don't think this is a case where they're slipping back into old habits. It was just an off night, which you're going to have from time to time in any sport, in any league, and San Diego was ready and on fire.
Yeah, Oligurieri had 43 saves in this game.
The chances of you beating somebody with 43 saves are slim to none, unless you're playing, a team like Vancouver, who we've seen do that multiple times where they just can't get it going offensively and their goalie just can't save them all. But
no,
realistically, 43 saves in a game is a win.
Do I sound crazy here? Because Doug Jamieson started this game, gave up 7 goals, had 17 saves in 30 minutes. Justin Getty came in relief of Dougie Jamieson, had 6 goals scored against him, had 28 saves in 29 minutes and 59 seconds. But Justin Getty, according to the score sheet, is credited with the loss.
That's interesting.
I don't know how that gets justified in terms of who gets awarded
Yeah, I'm not sure
a
who's.
win and a loss in
Yeah.
those. So like, but it feels like because Doug started and gave up 7 goals in 30 minutes, so that's halftime. I mean, it's not like it was a tie game at halftime. Like Albany was
Right.
losing 7-2. I could understand if it was tied at halftime and then you pulled him and it's like, okay, it's almost like a brand new game, kind of like baseball, where pitcher who comes in when it's tied is now on the hook for the win or loss. I mean, Justin Getty stopped the bleeding to a degree, but
I mean, 7-5 is much favorable than 7-2.
it was 7-2 at halftime, and then Dougie walks out with a no decision.
I guess so.
And that's no slight on either guy. It's just interesting,
Right.
the determination there. So if anybody knows why that happened, let us know in the YouTube comment section, because we might just sound crazy and don't know why. But I think the other thing too is like to piggyback on Origlieri having 43 saves. Like Alex Simmons had 1 goal in this game on 15 shots.
Yeah, you can't expect to win a game if guys are going to shoot 1 for 15.
Ethan Walker was 1 goal on 8 shots. Let's see. Travis Longboat was 1 for 5. Ty Kurtz was 1 for 4.
See, that's 4 different goal scorers already, which is fine. You want to be able to spread it around, but some of those guys have to be.
Nathan Grennan was 0 for 4.
Got to be scoring multiple times or you're not going to win a game. Everybody can't shoot 1 for whatever and expect to win. Unless you're going to have just an unbelievable defense on the opposite side, and then you're winning games like Colorado was last year, freaking 8-6 and 9-5 and just stupid scores like that. But how often is that happening in the NLL? Almost never.
And I mean, faceoffs are pretty even too. Trevor ended up or San Diego, I should say, ended up winning the faceoffs. I don't know if there were any penalties or anything that prevented guys from taking faceoffs or anything that switched up towards the end of the game of having somebody else take it, but it was 13-11 in terms of faceoffs.
That's not bad.
San Diego. It's not bad at all. This game could have gotten a lot uglier too. San Diego was only 3 for 9 on the power play. That tells a story too, is Albany was just not disciplined. 9 penalties to San Diego is like a death sentence with the talent that they have offensively.
Yeah, it's really hard to stop a team like that if you're going to give them odd number of opportunities that often. Like, you're going to get a couple
penalty
stops.
Minutes.
So you're going to get a couple stops on the PK, but realistically, you're going against one of the best power plays in the country, probably in the world, honestly. So giving them that many opportunities, I think what was that, 9? But I guess
9 power plays and 18 total penalty minutes.
Yeah. Can't do that if you want to win the game.
And Albany went 2 for 4 on the power play, which, like, that's solid. Like, going 50% or better on the power play in any game is good.
The power play this year has been subpar. And not even just Albany, just across the league. It seems like a lot of power plays are struggling to score. They're getting good looks, but they're not putting the ball in the back of the net. It's an interesting look I've seen where it's like, do teams even want to go on the power play at this point? It seems
the Wings are like one team that's thriving on the power play, but they've always done that.
Yeah, the Wings are doing well. Buffalo isn't doing bad either. Obviously San Diego, but like, I think after those, I think Georgia's actually doing pretty well on the power play as well. But I think after those 3, it takes a pretty significant drop.
I'm trying to see. I'm looking at just like the stats page here. I'm going to give you a guess because I like that they're tracking this. Penalty minutes is a stat being tracked on the NLL website. Can you guess who leads the league in penalty minutes?
Is it Ian?
No.
Give me a team or a conference.
Georgia Swarm.
Is it McIntosh?
You're close.
I'm pulling up Georgia's roster.
As soon as you see it, or as soon as I say it, you're gonna be like, "Yep, that checks out."
Mike Manley.
Yep.
That's like that does track. My other guess would have been Bomberry. But
Mike Manley's got 36 penalty minutes this year. And Jeff Henrick is also in the top 5 from the Georgia Swarm in the league in penalty minutes with 27. So between the two of them, they have almost a full NLL game worth of penalty minutes.
Look at Jake Withers coming in strong at 26.
Jake Withers is also by far and away leading the league in loose balls at 86. Next closest is Nards at 66.
Yeah, he's been raking it at the stripe. Alex Simmons tied with Josh Byrne and Dane Smith for leader in points.
And he's doing it on both ends.
No surprise, Teat and Thompson are 2-1 in goals.
Like, Alex Simmons has 17 goals and 23 assists.
He's third in both categories. Look at Joe Post is doing well for Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons almost has 100 shots on goal already.
It's ridiculous.
Heat's leading the league in turnovers, though, with 25.
It's always been a problem of his.
Dobson leads the league in saves, though, with 261. Oh, Origlieri's full name is Christopher.
What'd you think Chris was short for?
Bro, some people actually just named Chris.
Those people are psychopaths.
Okay, sorry for thinking a goalie would be a psychopath.
Good counterpoint.
Jesus. Names aren't synonymous, man. Everybody doesn't have the same name. Every Chris is not a Christopher. It's not like squares and rectangles. Well, I guess it kind of is.
Kind of is.
Yeah, every Christopher is a Chris, and every Chris is a Christopher.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I'm not that smart.
Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the games, Vancouver comes back, takes down Saskatchewan on throwback night, and then Colorado gets the home dub against your Roughnecks, 13-10. A big time win for the Mammoth.
Watching that one sucked because it was like we had it the entire game, and then toward the end of the third, it just slowly slipped from the fingers. Every time, like every turnover, every empty possession, every lost faceoff, I could just feel it getting farther and farther away. And then Colorado took the lead, and I was like, "Yep, that's it." And it was, and it sucked to see, but that's kind of where Colorado has been. They're still 2-3, very much still in the fight, so not too concerned. But they're going into a very tough stretch in the year. The transition game is what has to go for Calgary. It wasn't there against Colorado, but that's more on Colorado, putting an emphasis on transition, getting back, stopping the long outlets from Del Bianco or just
that save Christian Del Bianco had was absolutely absurd, by the way.
Bruh.
Like, that was some ridiculous ass shit.
Because I'd already written it off as a goal. So I started
insane
screaming. I literally started screaming because I didn't think it was going to happen. But yeah, they're just in a position where they have to have the transition going. They're not the same team without the transition. It gets them kind of the odd end goals they need to stay in the mix, but it also just forces teams into a faster paced game that most teams don't want to play against them because they have the bodies and the skill to run that transition game and be up and down. So they really just got to force that issue if they want to be able to continue to compete and get into the playoffs. But I'm not too concerned yet at 2-3, but a very tough stretch coming up for the Roughnecks.
Yo, Connor Robinson went no goals, 6 assists, had a sock trick on assists. And then I think it's fair to say I was right about Connor Kelly in the NLL. Said it preseason that I felt like nobody was really talking about like the Mammoth acquiring him and that he was going to be not a full-time like replacement for Ryan Lee, but he was going to do things to help alleviate that missing piece of Ryan Lee. He had 4 goals in this game. Connor Kelly, not a notorious box lacrosse player, obviously way more known for his field game, coming in scoring 4 goals on Christian Del Bianco. It's pretty impressive. He's had a great year so far. And like, it's only going to make his play with the Water Dogs that much better. And I've loved what I've seen from him just on this team and being in the mix on this offense. The only thing for the Mammoth that I take away from this game is the same thing I took away from last week. Like, Eli McLaughlin got his, Connor Robinson was dishing, and then Connor Kelly led the way with goals. But I still want to see more from Zed, and I still want to see more from Tyson Gibson. Like, both of those guys are way too talented to walk away with a combined 3 points in this game. And this game could have gotten a lot more out of hand, too, because Colorado went 0 for 4 on the power play. Could have been a lot worse. Impressive night at the stripe for Colorado, 19 of 27. Get you those possessions, win those loose balls. But it could have been a much uglier game than what it ended up being if Colorado cashed in on the power play.
The thing with like Zed is it's so hard for him to get his in box because the Colorado setup and offensive game plan is not similar to San Diego's or what Calgary had or has really. Because when you look at his style of play, he's very similar to Dane Dobie. But when you watch Dane and Lyle Thompson, Jesse King, they're given space to try a few moves and kind of just make their way to the net. Like, they're more amped to dodge in box, which you don't see a lot. It's more pick and roll, more just getting to open space, cutting, catching a pass. Those guys they've created space within their game plan and their offensive flow for those guys to get space to create their own shot. Colorado does not do that for Zed. And a lot of his opportunities where he does get to do that are off broken plays toward the end of the shot clock where he's just trying to get something on net. It's like, create that opportunity for him. Clear out a side, get him in a nice matchup, and let him go one-on-one. There aren't too many guys in the NLL, in the world, in field that can guard Zed one-on-one. So create that space and then do some exchanges and other backside picks, off-ball cuts, those kind of things to still have the movement so that they can't just go over and double and you have things that he can go to if that is stopped. But you want to be able to create space and opportunity for one of your best players. Right now, Colorado just doesn't have that in their book for Zed. And I think if they go to that, he can be, or if he decides, I shouldn't say decides, if they find out a way to get him moving so that he can be more lethal, those are one of the two ways. Either they have to find a way to integrate him into the offense in a way that gets him open shots, or they just have to give him space to dodge.
Yeah. And your standings after week 8 look a little some. Shout out to Swizz Beats. Like this, one undefeated team remaining. The Toronto Rock stay perfect at 5-0. Albany now 6-1. San Diego at 4-2. Rochester at 3-2. Georgia at 4-3, Buffalo at 3-3, Las Vegas and Philadelphia both at 2-3, and then the Calgary Roughnecks, Panther City, and Halifax also at 2-3. New York, Vancouver, and Colorado at 2-4, and Saskatchewan at the bottom of the table at 1-4. And speaking of Saskatchewan, they made a change this week with their coach, offensively wise speaking, and Derek Keenan is now doing what he did in 2021-2022 and is back on the bench for Saskatchewan following the change there. I'm trying to pull up the full-on thing here with the story that was put out from Saskatchewan, but not ideal to be 5 games into your season, 8 weeks into the year, and you're already making a change. I guess, I saw Cody Jansen, who we're working on getting on this show, does play-by-play for the Rush, put a tweet out and said, at least it's happening now rather than the way it happened a couple years ago where it was towards the end of the year and you just didn't have enough time to capitalize on the change per se. I don't know. It's not great that you're already making a change there, but I guess get out in front of it now and try to make the change rather than wait and it be too little too late.
I agree. But like we talked about a little bit off pod and this stuff, it's like they have to make a decision over there. It's like last time they obviously just got a new coach. It's like they just didn't make the right decision. Like they rushed into it or something. It's like just take that actually wasn't intentional.
I know. That's why it was funny.
Wow. Yeah. Pun totally intended there. They just need to take the time to find the candidate that's going to be best for them. And I know it's a lot to be on the bench, but also be GM and doing the front office and those kind of things. But just take the time. And if it takes the entire season and a little bit of the offseason, fine. But it's going to be worth it because you won't have to do this again. I think that's just kind of a space where you find the perfect candidate. So, I mean, I think Keenan's really the guy that has a choice here first. Like, does he want to be GM or does he want to be coach? Like, which one does he kind of want to take the stab at to truly do? And then you find a candidate in the other position that is going to do the job so that you don't have to be back in this position. Go and find the best quality candidate you can and then move forward from there. I'm guessing he's going to slide back into the GM spot more than coaching. So go find a good coach. And if that takes you time, so be it. But you don't want to be back in this situation anytime soon. So take your time. There's no rush, literal pun intended this time. You have nothing but time.
Yeah. So the press release, General Manager Derek Keenan announced that Saskatchewan have relieved Bruce Alexander of his coaching duties. Quote, I owe it to the players, our staff, our fan base, and ownership to do whatever it takes to turn this ship in the right direction, said Keenan. We are very close, but close isn't good enough in the NLL. Moving forward, Derek Keenan will take over duties as co-head coach alongside Jimmy Quinlan. Quote, I see so many good things with this young group, and I want to take a more hands-on approach. I am excited and look forward to this opportunity, said Keenan. Jeremy Televi will stay on the bench as the defensive coordinator, while goalie coach Evan Kirk will take on a more active role with the club for the rest of the season. The Rush would like to thank Bruce for all of his contributions to the organization. We were talking, like you said, we were talking about it off pod, and it's like Derek Keenan's not done this twice in the history of this show. It gets to a point where, like, he has to determine, do I want to be the all-encapsulating type of coach where I'm the coach and GM, which we see a lot of teams have that, and it's successful. Paul Day, Mike Corsi, you see it across the league, and it works. Patrick Merrill is the coach and GM of the Seals. Like, in a lot of instances, it works, but Derek Keenan, I think, has to evaluate for himself. He wants to take a more hands-on approach. He wants to right this ship. He's got to determine for the betterment of the club, like, okay, is the best interest of us getting better me going and just taking over this position full-time and being the coach and GM, putting the pieces in place for us to succeed, knowing that it's my moves I'm making as a member of the front office and then my coaching style being implemented. Because when he did take over in 2021, 2022, down the stretch, the Rush went 4-0. But it was just too little too late for them to make the playoffs, and they just missed out. He obviously has the ability to coach up this team. It's just a matter of him, I think, coming to terms with, do I want to be both roles moving forward, or am I going to try and find somebody at the end of the year to do this again, and then potentially we're doing this same song and dance for a third time with the Rush? It feels very at a breaking point where, like, Derek Keenan needs to make a decision for himself.
I just don't know what's in the best for them. They do, and that's the biggest thing, is they'll find out what's best for them moving forward and go with that. But maybe it's not so much of a bad idea for him to be GM and coach. It works out in multiple ways. You know your players on different levels, and you're able to make things flow in a way that other organizations can't, because you're working multiple areas of that as well. So it could be a plus or a negative, but it's really dependent on what he feels he can do.
Mm-hmm.
If he feels like it's going to be too much on his plate, then him taking on both roles won't be good. But then if he coming along with that is, does he feel like there's a quality candidate that can do either job so that he can do one or the other, which then is another separate issue. So I think that's their biggest thing, is one, finding out what he actually wants to do and what's the best decision for them. And then two, finding out if there is a quality candidate at either job that they want to go with.
Yeah. And I mean, both Jimmy Quinlan and Jeremy Televi have been with the team for quite some time now. So, like, there's been consistency there. And, now you've gone from Jeff McComb being your head coach to firing him. He's now the offensive coordinator with the Wings. To then Derek Keenan taking over. And then you hire a new coach. You're 1-4. You fire that guy. Derek Keenan's now back on the bench. It also, like, raises, I think, if you're looking to become a head coach, like, do you even think about taking a job in Saskatchewan right now? Because you don't know how long your job security is going to last before Derek Keenan comes in and is like, hey, I'm gonna take over. That's another thing just for the organization as a whole that they have to figure out, is we have Derek Keenan here. He's willing to be a hands-on coach GM. We should just give him the reins. I don't think you need to go through another head coaching search after this season, and you're doing that with a coach potentially not wanting to come to your organization because you don't know how long the leash will be before your GM steps in again, potentially fires you, and takes over the role. Like, that's an organizational thing. Not saying it's going to happen, but that's something that if you're an aspiring head coach in this league, you got to kind of keep that in the back of your mind, knowing that if potentially times get tough, I could be on the hot seat within the blink of an eye.
I would hope that every coach feels that way. I can't even really be fired from my high school coaching job, and I still feel that way. That's just how it is, you know. Like, you should feel at any moment like your job is on the hot seat. So like, I get that they're doing that a lot, but it's just like
you don't want to get stuck in that cycle.
To me, it goes back to them not picking like a quality candidate. Like, just pick one and then stick with them for a little bit. Sure, the first little bit isn't going to be good. It's not. They're coming in, they're setting a new president, setting a new culture, running a new offense, defense, doing things the way they want to do it. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Maybe not to the end of the year or at the end of the second season. Now, 3, 4, 5 seasons in, okay. But the first couple seasons are going to be a little rough because it's new. That's what happens with change. I think with the next guy, they find somebody who they feel is truly quality and then give him time to really set things up and create a winning culture, another winning culture. Because it's not like Saskatchewan doesn't know what that's like. They've won plenty of NLL chips, but it's getting back to that and getting that new form that's going to bring that success in. It's going to take time to go to that.
Yeah, which is also why it's a little concerning too, where like, it's going to take time for us to kind of get this new era going, and it's like 5 games in to this new head coach's regime, you're already pulling the cord on it. That's, I think, the biggest point of concern. And I get like wanting to get out in front of it, and you think you have the talent to win and all that kind of stuff, but you're also in an era where like you just shipped out the face of your franchise in the offseason because you knew it was going to be a new iteration of this team. You knew growing pains were going to be there, and putting young players in a position where it's like, damn, we're already on to head coach number 2 of the year. It's a tough thing to you want that model of consistency that you had where you won 3 out of 4 championships. You got to kind of go through some growing pains a little bit, and I don't know if 5 games was enough to determine that. And I'm not saying it's a good decision or a bad decision either way. That remains to be seen. But you also don't want to get stuck in that cycle of like, oh, every other year we're firing our coach.
I just don't think I wonder how much of this was like locker room based kind of stuff. Like, how
Which
much
we'll probably never know.
Right. But I'm just, thinking like, was Keenan talking to the guys or like overhearing things and just they didn't feel like coach had the locker room. Not that they didn't want to give him the time, but it's like you can be struggling. Like a perfect example is my high school team, my first year coaching. We didn't win a single game, but I had all of them come back the next year and bring friends to come and play because they enjoyed it. They had fun. They felt like we were going to get better and on a mission. Same thing works in a pro locker room. Mm-hmm. Guys understand how it goes. You're not going to have you're going to have a bad season here and there. You're going to have off nights, going to have off games. But if you feel like your coach is actually setting you up for success and wants to help you progress and wants to get to that eventual goal of a championship and is doing it in the right way, you feel okay with backing him up. You feel great playing for him and you want to play for that guy and you're bought. I don't want to say bought in, but you believe in the process that's going to go on, and you're diving head first into it, putting in all your effort. If you're not, people are going to see that. GMs are going to ask questions. Owners are going to be like, okay, what's the next move? Because our locker room doesn't believe this guy has it. So do we even believe this guy has it? And I think that's kind of where things may have gone. But like you said, we literally will never know because we're not in the locker room.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. And then the other news that came out this week too, which will segue us into our Week 9 preview, is the boy, friend of the program, Josh Byrne, signs a 5-year contract extension with the Buffalo Bandits. And Dane Smith's tweet about it was absolutely hilarious. Both of those boys staying put in Bandit land for the next half decade. Congrats to Josh. Absolutely deserved. And he wrote a letter to Banditland that is on their website that said, "Dear Banditland, growing up, I dreamed of playing professional lacrosse. I looked up to players like Kevin Alexander, John Tavares, and John Grant Jr., idolizing them and the creativity they played with. I would always try to take pieces of their game along the way to add to my own. You're always fighting to have people believe in you when you're younger, to find your place. It wasn't until I was drafted and played my first game that I knew where I was meant to be. Bandit Land. Bandit Land is a special place. It's a place where it doesn't matter how old you are or the color of your skin. When I walked into the arena, I became a part of the family, and you have treated me and my family like one of your own. I always try to take time to reflect and remember how lucky I am to play in Buffalo. There's so much about the city that I've fallen in love with over the last 7 years. I've witnessed firsthand the city's character and ability to overcome any obstacle in its way. I've seen the amount of love that people pour into this city and the way Buffalo comes together through trying times. And there's a whole lot more in here, but it's a great, piece from Josh Byrne. We'll link it in the description. Go read that bad boy. And congrats to the boy. Big-time contract extension. You don't see 5-year deals get thrown around the NLL too often.
But, I mean, look at those dudes. Those are two dudes you offer 5 years to. You know what you're going to be getting from them for at least the next 3 just because of, their age and where they're going in their career and the way it's projecting up. You know you're going to get very solid top 5, top 10 forward of the year kind of production for them for the next 5 years. Why not? And maybe even, some years after that, they love the city. They love playing for it. They're, one of the huge pieces, leader pieces of your team. Lock them in for as long as you can. That makes the people around them feel more secure. When a guy like that wants to be there, accepts a contract like that, and then puts out a note like that, they're like, okay, this guy loves what he has going on here. Why wouldn't I want to stick around too? The core pieces are the important part to building championship teams. Buffalo's already done it once with this team. I'm sure they want to continue doing it. And like you said, just a guy that absolutely deserves it. And he's going to have many, many plays that people remember for a very long time, both in the NLL and PLL.
Yeah, shout out to Burnsy. But we got week 9 on deck, and it's looking a little something like this. The games this week, we got one game on Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Colorado at Vancouver, and then we move to Saturday. The rest of the slate, 6 p.m. Eastern time, gets us started on Saturday as Rochester takes on Halifax at the Nest. Should be a good one there. Speaking of Buffalo, they go to Toronto to take on the Rock at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, we've got 2 games that face off at that slot in the schedule. Georgia at New York to take on the Riptide, and then Trevor Baptiste returns to Philadelphia for the first time since the trade on emo night at the Wells Fargo Center as the Wings host the Seals. I'll be there, so holla at your boy. Hopefully Shake Shack is open, no free ads, but third time's the charm this year. And then Saturday, January 27th at 10 p.m. Eastern time, the nightcap, Las Vegas hosts Panther City. Second time those teams will face off this season. What are you looking forward to most, Deej, on this absolutely loaded schedule of games we have?
Obviously, the return of Trevor Baptiste to Philadelphia will be circled. Georgia-New York rematch is always fun. Those two teams get after each other a bunch. Rochester-Halifax have been two of the more exciting teams offensively in the year, so I want to see is anybody going to slow anybody down, or is that just going to be one of those games that we see that's like 18-16 and nobody can believe that many goals can be scored in a game. And then obviously the game of the week is the one in the middle, the Buffalo-Toronto. Can Buffalo build off what they did last week, keep progressing forward? Well, the last couple weeks, they lost last week, but their offense has finally kind of found their footing and has really taken off. Are they going to continue to score at that clip and be the first ones to eclipse an unbeaten mountain, or is Toronto going to continue to roll?
Yeah, that's always a fun one. Rochester-Halifax is going to be a doozy of a matchup. It's going to be high scoring. I'm looking forward to that big time. Should be a good face-off match at the Stripe, too, between Jake Withers and Joe Post. Wings in San Diego, hopefully no weather delays anything. It's only supposed to rain on Saturday, so that's good. The matchup there is going to be fun. Trevor should get a nice tribute video, and we get to see Nick Rowlett for the first time in the box game, which is going to be a lot of fun as well. And then Vancouver and Colorado, sneaky fun single game on Friday. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to take in. Get your caffeine ready if you're on the East Coast, because 10 p.m. Eastern time start for that one. And then also, too, I did want to mention there was a date announced for the rescheduling of the postponed Wings Saskatchewan game that was supposed to take place a couple weeks ago. That will now happen on Thursday, March 28th at the Wells Fargo Center. So we have Thursday night lacrosse going down in March now with that rescheduled game. So if you're a Wings fan, I know the Wings posted this on their social media, but your ticket for that game works for the Thursday rescheduled game now. So if you had intentions of going to that January 13th matchup that got postponed, your ticket is still valid for March 28th. And we'll see you at the Wells Fargo Center on a Thursday night for NLL action, which is very exciting. We thought we were going to go a whole season without Thursday or Monday lacrosse.
Come on.
Script writers cooked with that weather delay.
Couldn't have been that foolish. Not the script writers, bro. Stop it. Stop it. We're not the NFL. We're not big enough for that yet. Keyword yet. We're coming. Script writers will be around the corner soon.
It's like SpongeBob in his boating school episode. He's writing the letter T for the.
Hey, you know new SpongeBob got a license?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I stopped watching after I saw that. I'm like, this is fake. What bootleg SpongeBob?
Not
is
my
this?
SpongeBob.
Yeah, he ain't never. He driving? I'm finna get off the real roads.
What the hell?
Because he shouldn't be.
Only thing he ever drove in my lifetime was being entrenched in the pectoral muscles of David Hasselhoff in the SpongeBob movie.
Well, no, they let him drive the Patty Mobile thing. I couldn't believe he was able to drive that
too. That
didn't make sense. That did not make sense.
Nope. That thing had to be automatic driver.
That was
just there for show.
That was first Tesla. That thing was
that was a Chrysler.
And introducing the Krusty Krab Tesla collab.
Elon Musk.
Stop it.
Quick question before we go over to the pick pond and make our picks. Do you think it's good for Albany to have a bye week this week coming off of that loss?
Yes. If I could have multiple days, even if I could have like 3 days in between a loss and another game at the high school level, I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to sit in it. And that was a tough loss. 14-7, getting doubled up, not being able to really score, but having opportunities. That one eats at you. So I think this is just one of those ones where they're gonna be able to sit in it for a week, get some practice time in. But realistically, it's like, dude, we lost. And now they're gonna be able to just kind of refocus, look at the film, see what was good and bad, and look to correct it. Honestly, I think losses or bye weeks after losses are better than bye weeks after wins.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see how everything shakes out with 6 games on deck, and we have to be better this week than we were last week. There's nowhere to go but up, so we're going to head over to the pick pond, feed some ducks, and bring you our Week 9 NLL Beer Money Picks of the Week, brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Maryland areas. I had some people DMing me that live in the area, Deej, that said, yo, I've been listening to the pod. They got Kenny's on deck at my local spots. The people are loving the Kennys. You can also check out their website to get Kenwood apparel, merchandise, like the pint glasses that are absolute gas. They got Kenny sweatshirts, hats, shirts, the whole 9 yards. You can also get Kenwood beer at your local liquor stores in those markets that I mentioned. Must be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. Deej, we start in Vancouver as the Colorado Mammoth take on the Vancouver Warriors. How do you see this one playing out?
I like Colorado. Their offense looks good. And one thing you brought up is Connor Robinson going over on shots, but having 6 assists. That's something he could do any night of the week, but I don't expect him to go over again. And I expect a few more guys to help offensively. Colorado comes out with a win.
I'm with you. I think Colorado has the overall just full team effort to go and get it done. I think it's going to be a great game, but I think Colorado comes away with the win. Then we move to the Battle of the Nest. It's the Rochester Nighthawks, the Halifax Thunderbirds in Halifax. Both teams trying to keep pace and stay in the playoff hunt. Rochester at 3-2. Halifax is at 2-3, and right now would not be in the postseason. I'm intrigued by this one. I think there's going to be a lot of offense. I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball in their stick for that final shot. But I got to go Rochester. They've been the more consistent team so far this season, and I think they have the wherewithal to get a dub against Halifax.
I don't like games like this. I have to agree. I think Rochester's just been more consistent offensively. Halifax has been really good on defense. Warren Hill's been great. Obviously, they're getting great help from Weathers on getting possessions, but they're not necessarily scoring on those possessions, and Rochester is. So I go Rochester to edge out in a very close game.
Then we move to Toronto as the Toronto Rock take on the Buffalo Bandits. Deej, how do you see this heavyweight matchup shaking out up in Hamilton?
Buffalo's coming in with weird vibes. They've been going up and down all year. 3-3, I believe, on the year. Let me check that. Yeah, 3-3 on the year. So coming in 500. And Toronto's absolutely rolling. No TD, but I don't think that affects things too much. Rosie in between pipes is great. The offense is flowing. I got to go Toronto.
I'm looking at Buffalo's schedule here. So they lost to Albany to kick off their season on the road. They also lost to the Riptide on the road this past week. Their only other loss was at home against the Georgia Swarm 9-8. And they beat the Seals at home. They beat the Mammoth at home. And they beat the Rochester Nighthawks on the road. Haven't been a good road team this year. Have not done it on the road. It is one of those things that we have said. Until they prove us otherwise, you got to go with them. But I don't think Buffalo's losing on Josh Byrne contract extension week. Give me the Bandits. They're going to figure it out. They're going to get it done. And they'll improve their win-loss record this week with a big win over the Toronto Rock.
Solid.
Then we move to Long Island. The New York Riptide hosting the Georgia Swarm. This is a battle of your teams. League Pass and your your New York Riptide.
I just hope both teams have fun.
Jeff Teat versus Lyle Thompson. I got to go with Georgia right now. Just the way that they're playing, the speed that they're playing with, and not that New York doesn't have good goaltending, but I think Dobson supersedes what Cam Dunkerley has done so far this year. So give me the Swarm to get a win on the road.
Do I actually have to pick this game? But no, in reality, it comes down to, like you said, goalie play. And Brett Dobson is edging that weird circle of guys who are just the best right now. No matter indoor, outdoor, sixes, whatever you want it to be, Brett Dobson's going to be in the conversation for best goalie on the planet. So I expect him to win this battle as well. Gives me league pass, the Georgia Swarm.
Then we move to Philadelphia at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Wings hosting the San Diego Seals. Should be a doozy of a game. Trevor Baptiste homecoming. And should be a lot of excitement in this one across the board. You get a NLL debut on the wing side of things with Nick Rowlett. Deej, how do you see the battle of the 2018-2019 expansion teams shaken out?
Trevor Baptiste about to wear all black to y'all funeral.
So
it's
disrespectful for no reason.
It's that simple. But no, really what this comes down to is offenses. The Wings are able to score with anybody, but at the same time, San Diego's actually been filling the net this year, and that's a big reason why they're 4-2. The two games they lost this year, they were offensive battles where they just got outscored. And I don't know if the Wings are in a position right now to go toe-to-toe with them offensively and outscore them.
This is one of those matchups that hopefully the unified standings will help curate it a bit more too, that it should be a rivalry. These two teams came into the league the same year. They've played in the playoffs one time in 2022, and the Seals barely squeaked out the win there, winning 10-9. And this just feels like a game that should be more heated and should become a rivalry, East-West Coast. And I'm going to enjoy being able to see the Seals in person. It sucks that Kevin Crowley's not there anymore, so I don't get to see Big Cat come to town. But Trevor's in town. It's going to be a fun matchup. I'm trying to find the all-time record between these two teams. I don't know if the Wings have ever beaten. No, they have. The Wings did beat the Seals late in that 2021-2022 season to help secure that wild card. So I think they have one win against them all time. But I think the Wings need this game more in terms of standings, in terms of direction of season. They're 2-3 right now. If the playoffs started today, they'd be the 8th seed. I think the Wings want to try to climb themselves out of being like that last team in type of vibe that they have around them, and they want to get a win at home. They got to get a win at home. So I'm going to go with the Wings to get the win here. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I also think the Wings have a little bit of a rest advantage because they had a bye week on top of the postponement. So they've had 2 weeks to kind of get their bodies ready, a little more rest than what they probably anticipated coming into this game. So I'm going to go with the Wings as you take the Seals in this one. And then we move to the final game of the weekend, Panther City at Las Vegas. How do you see this one shaking out, Deej?
I think last time these two played, we aired on the side of our league pass team, and it came up just short. Panther City has been a weird team this year, but so has Vegas. It's hard to beat a team twice in a year, but I'll take Panther City to do it. This is honestly for a playoff spot right now. Vegas is 7, but just a couple places back, tied at 2 and 3 is Panther City. So the winner of this will be in that top 8. The loser will be in the bottom half. So this is a huge game, but I think Panther City and TK have what it takes.
I'm going to go Vegas. I like the energy that Vegas has been dishing out in their, not only their most recent game, getting that dub over San Diego, but they're kind of playing with like this chip on their shoulder that nobody believes in them. Nobody thinks that they can go out and beat a team on any given night. I think Joel Watson has been absolutely hilarious on Twitter recently with some of the stuff he's been posting. I just like the vibe around this team right now, and couple that with they are our League Pass team for the pod. I think Vegas is going to get a nice little home win and even out this series to kind of make tiebreakers a little more difficult for us down the stretch. So give me Vegas to get a win, which our picks now look like this for week 9. We both have Colorado. We both have Rochester. You've got Toronto. I've got Buffalo. We both have Georgia. You've got San Diego. I've got Philadelphia. You've got Panther City. And I've got Las Vegas. And those are the week 9 NLL Beer Money Picks of the Week, brought to you by Kenwood Beer. Let's shift to the field game, Deej. It's brought to you by Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. From sunglasses to blue light glasses to prescription lenses and, of course, those ski goggles. Tomahawk Shades has you covered for a fraction of the price of the big eyewear companies. You already know. It's wintertime. Deej, we had snow here recently, and man, walking outside, you need those sunglasses because the sun beaming off that snow is insane.
Something real.
It's insane.
It was so bad here earlier. I thought it was snowing.
It's horrible.
Like it was like bright, and I like walked by, and I like went back and was like, "Is this snowing?" I was like, "Oh no, the snow's just really bright."
And you know what's ridiculous right now? It's 60 degrees today.
Oh, we getting some of that soon. So
it's nuts. But I'm wearing the blue light glasses when I'm watching Lacrosse on TV, when I'm editing the podcast, staring at my phone. It really helps your eyes be less strained. You sleep better. And Tomahawk Shades, the quality of the glasses is second to none, and it's a fraction of the price of those big eyewear companies. Go to tomahawkshades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store or Google Play. And when you go to checkout, when your cart is filled to the brim, use code USP for 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. That's code USP for 25% off from our friends at Tomahawk Shades. Deej, the PLL coming in hot with a big old announcement on Thursday as we record this with homecoming passes. They're equivalent to season tickets, where you secure your seat at your team's home stadium for not only 2024, but 2025 as well. I think this initiative and this concept is so fucking smart. I love this idea. As soon as I saw the post about it, it is so innovative. It's a creative way to implement their version of season tickets. Homecoming passes will give fans full access to their team's doubleheader homecoming weekend with the option to lock in preferential pricing and seating locations for 2025. Statement here from our guy, friend of the pod, Mike Rabel. Making season tickets available to our team's most dedicated fans is an exciting evolution for the PLL as we enter this new era for our league. As we continue to build fandom and connection with our teams, founding homecoming pass holders will be part of league history when they watch their teams face off for the first time this summer in their home market. I love this idea. This is so awesome. And Mike put a tweet out that this was inspired by the 2 Water Dogs fans from the championship game who had their faces painted, had the flags. with the Water Dogs logo on it and just waving them in the stands at Subaru Park, which I think is absolutely awesome because when you think of like super fans in the league, like those guys stand out in your brains. And this is such a good way to just continue that growth of home markets with fans.
I'm just jealous because I can't even buy one if I wanted to. Not that I needed to, but like I can't. And then I can't like tell people to go buy them either because where are they going to go buy them? But no, this is awesome. It gives people kind of that feeling that things are going to start to go where they want them to, where they're going to settle down in that city and they'll be able to buy season tickets and go to multiple games a year and make it a thing for their family or make it date night, whatever the case may be. It's just another step in the right direction. I also think it's cool that they're locking in for the next year as well. I think that's how you get fans to continuously come back is, this price point that we have for this year is going to be the price point for the next 2 to 3 years if you get them this year. Dude, people are going to just come just because, okay, I'm getting really good seats for $60. And even if tickets go up for the next 3 years, I'm locked in at $60. So I'm going to take these good seats and this good price because it's there. So like this is nothing but good things coming for the sport, for the league. And I like the step it's taking. I just can't wait till they settle down in the Midwest and I can tell people to rush and go get their season tickets.
I am trying to see because it says deposits are live, so I'm trying to see if there's a thing here for the prices. So I'm just gonna click on Philly, see what a ballpark range looks like.
And I wonder if like what the tier sections are like.
Dude, that's not bad. The initial deposit is so nice. For Philly alone, I'll check and see if it's for every team. The initial deposit, general admission seat, blah, blah, blah. You lock in that seat in Philly, your initial deposit's $25.
That's not bad.
To lock in for season tickets for the Water Dogs at Villanova Stadium. I'm going to check around the other teams too. I'll click on the Redwoods here. Redwoods, same thing, $25. Every looks like that's gonna be every team. For the initial deposit, that's such a steal to be able to lock in year one. As somebody who has partial season tickets for the Philadelphia Phillies that I bought in for last year with 2 seats at a price point for 13 games, that broke down to just about that price per game per ticket. That's a steal. And you're getting in year one. And like we said, you get that preferential opportunity to then buy in at that same price for next season as well. That's a steal. That is a steal. Like, think about if you had the opportunity for these 8 markets, if you're a fan in any of these markets, if you had the opportunity year one to buy in on season tickets for the Eagles, the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, for the Patriots, the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Bruins, like the Knicks, the Mets, the Yankees, the Nets, the Islanders, the Rangers, even like the Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, any team in California. Think about being able to buy in year one of the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, that's what you're getting the opportunity to do here with these 8 teams. And I'm sure moving forward, when other teams come into the fold, it'll be very similar. You have a chance to be like a year one season ticket holder equivalent for your home market team. This is not even an ad for the PLL from us. Like, I'm saying this as a genuine just like sports fan and somebody who my entire life I aspired to have season tickets for a team, and like finally being able to accomplish that. It's such a awesome feeling to say, wow, like I'm a season ticket, those are my seats. If you have the means to do so, Take advantage of this opportunity. You won't regret it. You'll be able to have those bragging rights for the rest of your life. Saying, I was a year one homecoming pass holder for the Water Dogs, for the Chaos, for the Whip Snakes. Whatever team it may be. Take advantage of this. Because opportunities like this don't come around every day, every year. If you are in one of those 8 home markets, we just told you it's $25 for the initial deposit. That is nothing. That's nothing. That's like half a cup of coffee at certain coffee chains. Take advantage of it. Go get these home passes
now,
and be an OG like hardcore fan for your team. I saw Nate on Twitter. You know who I'm talking about. He said, I'm debating whether or not to get it for the Cannons because I live in New England, or to get it for Chaos to give me an excuse to go home to North Carolina. That's the opportunity you have here. Get those season tickets. Like, I'm genuinely thinking about getting them for us, for Philly.
to give away.
To say, hey, go sit in the Underground Sports season tickets. So we have them.
That's not a bad idea.
I'm genuinely thinking about it. I'm going to text Pat Pitts and say, bro, go get season tickets for the Boston Cannons. Buy in. I'm going to text Stephen McAvoy, bro. I know Albany's a little bit further away from Queens. Go get New York Atlas season tickets. You're telling me you don't think Diggs is going to go and get Redwood season tickets now? Especially because they're playing in San Diego?
Maybe.
That boy's going to be all over them.
He'd be running with the Bulls.
For now. Until he sees how nasty the Redwoods are in 6s.
You think he finna switch up?
He might switch up.
Nah.
He's going to be like Freddie and iCarly and be, and it's going to be Redwoods gear.
If anything, he'll just join. And
I'm gonna tell him
be his second favorite squad.
My boy Mikey Ostrowski. He lives in North Carolina. Go get Chaos season tickets, bro.
Hey, the Utah homies that called me
Yes.
out in 2021, go get your season tickets. I'm not gonna see you.
Denver homies, go take over Peter Barton. Get your season tickets. Maryland, come on now. I know the Ravens got a big old playoff game this week. But while you're waiting, go get Whip Snake season tickets. I'm genuinely thinking about buying in with Water Dogs home passes and being able to say, yo, go take in Water Dogs Lacrosse. $25 is nothing.
Nothing.
For an initial deposit, like, for context, like, initial deposit this year for my season tickets for the Phillies was like over $100.
I just thought about it.
The OG deposit.
I can't wait for like actual season tickets. I just caught some, and then like that's the easiest way to introduce new people to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I got this thing for you. I got a hotel for us already. Just hop in the car with me. I got your ticket. I got everything. You just got to bring yourself some cash. Lacrosse will skyrocket once people are able to start doing that.
And this is the first soiree into it.
Yep. This is such a good first step. I love this.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure I'm going to be doing that for the Dogs.
I like that idea a lot.
It makes too much sense not to do.
Literally.
Too much sense not to do. Like,
literally too much sense.
You know how cool it is to say that like you're a season ticket holder or even a partial season ticket holder for a team? Like, I got to experience that this past year for the first time, and it truly felt like I checked off a box on like life accomplishments as a sports fan. Because like those are like, because when you're going to a game, especially with this, it's the homecoming weekend. Like, those are memories that will stick with you forever. When I was going to Phillies playoff games with CFO Margie, like those are moments in my life that like I'll never forget. I'm in Phillies overalls yelling attaboy to an Atlanta Braves player because Harper just absolutely demolished his life. I'm out there yelling once a game during the playoffs, oh, brother, this guy stinks. Like, you get to be in the arena and root for your team at a level that is just, like, elevated because it's like, I'm here. This was the game I selected for myself. Like, Eagles fans get honored every game if they've been longtime season ticket holders. Like, I was at the preseason game for the Eagles this year. Like, there was a guy who was a season ticket holder for over 50 years for the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a guy on the NFL Countdown show this week for the Detroit Lions that the season tickets have been in his family since the 60s.
He was up there crying just like everybody else.
Facts. Rightfully so.
Facts. That was not a joke. That was like legitimate though.
Like, to be able to witness your team and be a part of history like this, DJ saying this with no allegiance to a team in terms of a home market, and I'm saying this to all of our Philadelphia listeners and to all of our listeners because we know we are across the U.S.
Worldwide.
We're worldwide. If you have the means to do so, take advantage of this opportunity because they don't come around every day.
And you don't want to be on the outside looking in.
Exactly. It is something that if you don't do it, you're going to regret not doing it.
Because who knows kind of how they what I'm going to say is PLL does a great job of holding down their day ones. Their supporters, people who buy into them, they make sure that they find a way to not only support them, but reward them and let them know that they see them. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but oh my God, maybe I should stop talking. I don't know how it's going to work, but there's a chance that they grandfather this first group of season ticket holders into some kind of lower pricing for the next level of season tickets that they do. Like, getting in as early as you can not only shows that you actually care about the PLL and lacrosse and want to see it grow, but that you support the PLL at its whole and value what they're doing, and they tend to really show that love and support back to those who are doing the same. So take advantage now because it may pay off later.
And I mean, they're already telling you 2025, your price is going to be the same.
Yep. It's going to pay off.
Take advantage of it, man.
It's paying off today when you do it. It's paying off next year as well. And then who knows, 3, 4, 5 years down the line when they bump this package up to something new, they're like, hey, yeah, you were around and you've had season tickets since we first brought it out. We're giving you $50 off or something. You just don't know how they're going to do. Or, you know what, this year's on us, but, you know, next year from here on out, you got to pay. And, like, you just don't know how they're
And imagine, like you were saying, like when there's actual season tickets and when it's, you know, these teams have their own stadium, or it's like, okay, we're symbiotically in the same stadium as Team X that is also in our city. Like, you're going to be able to say, yo, I'm a season ticket holder for my squad. These are my seats at our stadium. Like, that is something that, like, you can't replicate that feeling. And, like, knowing that, like, I bought in year one. I was year one for my squad. Can't recommend it enough. I'm telling everybody right now, if you're in the Philadelphia area, there's a 90% chance right now when we finish recording this episode, we will be buying in for Water Dogs homecoming passes and having somebody come out to week 3 to use our tickets. So stay locked in there. Some other PLL hot stove news. Just a couple signings happened this week. The boy, your favorite player's favorite player, speaking of Philly, Ryan Ambler, re-signed with the Archers through 2025, so he is back with the boys. Connor DeSimone was traded, obviously, from the Archers to the Outlaws. He is signed through 2025 now with the Outlaws. Looking here, Peyton Smith, still a free agent. It says new team for 20. He signed through 2024. I think they just re-signed him, even though he didn't hit the threshold. But I believe he is re-signed through 2024 with Atlas. I forget if we touched on this. Craig Chick is back with the Cannons. I forget if we talked about that last week or not. Through 2024. Chris Kluche signed through 2026 with Chaos. And the other big one was Mike Messenger has re-signed with the Outlaws through 2025. So the Outlaws get their short stick D-Midi group all back together. And I think that was all of the signings that have happened. The other news that we haven't really touched on that came out recently was just updates that they are doing to the PLL app, which I think is pretty exciting. There's going to be a lot of new features in the app for 2024. Have you seen any of these, Deej?
No.
So let me pull it up here. Because I know the boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Rabel has talked about it. So yeah, last week, it was probably like after we finished recording. So some big updates coming to the PLL Nation feature in the app in 2024. Expanded benefits for PLL Nation members, new experiences to immerse in, revamped achievements to showcase your fandom, exclusive on-site experiences, and Deej, you're going to be excited for this one. Portal Jones, get ready. College pick'ems and predictions.
I like that. It allows me to get, a few extra XP points.
College pick'ems going
I'll
down.
definitely have more XP points than you since you don't watch any college.
Hey,
Yeah,
that doesn't mean I won't log in and just pick.
That don't mean you're going to get them right. You don't know nothing. Y'all
exactly.
This man don't watch no college lacrosse. I don't get it. I don't get it. We going to do a college lacrosse OTB cast.
I'm down for that.
You going to watch. I'm going to figure out how to get you contractually written into an agreement that we're going to watch at least one game a week.
A week?
A week. It's not that bad, bro. You know how many games are on in a week? Like 20. You can find time to watch one. I'm not saying we got OTP cast everyone, but you got to watch.
I'm down for a college OTB cast. I will say that. I will put that out on the record. Some other things in the article about the revamps here. Statuses will carry over from last season. So all the work you put in PLL Nation the previous year will have their statuses carry over into 2024. And we have breaking news, Deej. Breaking news.
Okay.
I gotta cue it up here. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. The Atlanta Falcons have done the most Atlanta Falcons thing ever. They will not be hiring future defensive coordinator of the Chesapeake Bayhawks, Bill Belichick.
Let's go. We're one step closer.
The Falcons plan to hire Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris as their next head coach.
I mean, that's lit. We want more.
Bill Belichick not to the Falcons, still not with an NFL team, and the chrome foil hat theory lives on. Back to PLL Nation additives here. So it says this means that fans can immediately enjoy the rewards unlocked at the status they earned in 2023. So whatever status level you ended last season at, that's where you start. The goal then becomes maintaining that status to avoid losing the earned benefits the next year. I like that as well. The article says, think of this. You'll love this, Deej. Think of this like airline statuses. Once you earn it, you have it, but you have to continue to earn it every year. For new PLL Nation members, the journey is all about building fandom from free agent to MVP and unlocking the benefits as you reach new statuses. So, example, just so everyone knows, a fan that reached MVP in 2023 holds that status all of 2024 And if they finish 2024 in the All-Star status range, their status shifts down to All-Star for 2025. Your level, blah, blah, blah. Expanded member benefits for PLL Nation members. PLL Nation fans in 2023 earn benefits like championship game tickets, exclusive merch and discounts, and status among peers. We'll be dropping the benefits for 2024 closer to the 30th so that we don't we don't want to spoil it too much, but we've raised the bar for benefits available to PLL Nation members. This year, we wanted to keep things simple, so we've made it where new benefits get unlocked as you reach a new status. So new experiences to immerse in. From the sense of community it gives to securing core memories by the way of dominating family members in weekly fantasy. On top of the ones you know and love, we're introducing new experiences for you to further immerse yourself into. Revamped achievements to showcase your fandom. Building your PLL knowledge, watching or attending games, engaging with other fans, and helping spread the PLL and more. More badges. You win when your team wins. On-site experiences, college pick'ems and predictors. Community features. So get credit for engaging in discussions with fellow fans and helping grow your fan base both in PLL Nation and your local area. And PLL Nation 2024 starts January 30th.
Couple days away.
I'm very excited for that. I think the app has been a godsend for us in terms of just like being able to keep up to date with things and getting notifications. And when you're at a game in person, it's awesome as well. So the PLL app is fantastic. And that's not an ad, but just download that thing because it will help raise the level of your PLL fandom to a T.
But speaking of keeping up to date, no Grant Ament in the Champ Series. It's sad, but we do get to see Nate Solomon in his absence, and we're not going to talk about what happened off pod between me and KB when talking about this whole scenario. Just know it was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I think this is another one of those shots where like it sucks that Grant isn't going to be out there, but it's a great chance for Nate to kind of show what he has and how he could help the Archers and possibly earn himself a roster spot. But he's an electric player, as is. His time at Syracuse was great. I think he brings great things to the offense, and he'll slide right in this Sixers style. So not too concerned there. And the other piece is championships, box championships. This year is going to be in No. It was just on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember where this year's is going to be, but I know next year's 2025 and then 2027 for men, 2025 for women are both going to be in Japan. Or maybe I have that wrong. And this year's Japan. Give me just a second. I'm not always good at doing these things. Oh, 2024 is going to be in New York?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then they announced 2025. That's going to be in the same spot for men's. Here we go. What is going on here? The 2025 men's U20 is going to be in South Korea. Women's U20 is going to be in Hong Kong. Women's 2024 is going to be in Utica. And then men's and women's 2026, the old world championships are going to be Japan. Sixes championships for men's and women's 2026 has not been announced yet. So that's the newest of the new.
That new. And Deej, sorry about Coach Harbaugh leaving for the NFL.
Hey, I'm happy he's going to the Chargers because I was more concerned about him ending up in a place that isn't good for him. I think do
you have an AFC team now?
No. My allegiances are here in the NFC North. I said S. I put an S on the end of that because I am a secondary Lions fan and always have been. But Packers are my go-to. We're staying over here in the NFC North. But I do wish well to Jim Harbaugh, and I just hope that Michigan has an okay season this year. So I'm scared of that team down there, though.
If
they wouldn't spend a lot of money.
Say the Packers and Lions are just out of it at some point, but the Chargers are in the playoffs. Are you rooting for the Chargers?
What about no. No.
I'm saying if your teams are completely out of it, but the Chargers are there because he's your guy, you're not hoping that they get a dub?
I'd be rooting for black quarterbacks if my guys ain't in it. Just all reality, bro. Like, I want nobody more than Lamar Jackson to win a championship this year. The Lions.
I'm not saying this year. I'm saying like in the future while Harbaugh is there.
That's every year. If the Packers can't win it, I want a black quarterback to do it. And that's just me being real.
No loyalty to your guy.
No kiss. He ain't got no loyalty to us. He had a chance
in the bag.
Bro, he had a chance to come in and create the next dynasty with the man Nick Saban walking right out the door. What this man do? See ya. The NFL calling.
He probably heard some sanctions and said, "Skirt, let me be on my Chip Kelly shit."
Bro, just take the sanctions. Just take them.
I love the one meme where, what's it? Your offensive coordinator that they're saying is probably going to be the next coach.
Oh, Sharon Moore.
Yeah, it said Harbaugh to Sharon Moore on his way out, and it was the scene from Batman where Bane was like, "They're expecting one of us to be in the rubble."
Hey, they are. They are. So take this one for the team, big guy.
Dude, maybe Connor Stallions can be the head coach now.
No. No.
Do you think Connor Stallions goes to the Chargers as like a quality control
I read
coach?
Part of that man's manifesto, bro. No, absolutely not. No. Not okay.
It would be hilarious if he went to the
probably
Chargers
did
as
apply,
a quality control coach.
Oh my God. Please, I need it, actually. I need it. That would be so great. You know, the Ohio fans would just crumble.
California Connor. It would be electric. No pun intended.
California Connor's dope nickname.
Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does go a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps us do a whole lot more with and for you guys. And it'll benefit you if you're in the Philadelphia area or a surrounding area, if you're subscribed to the pod, to potentially be part of an opportunity to have access to our homecoming pass for the Water Dogs. And you know what else will help that? If you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. It's the most effective and direct way to support us and everything we're doing here, as you get full video episodes of this show every week, full video episodes of every show on our network, live streams, clips, shorts, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. As we finish up this recording, we are sitting at 726 subscribers. Let's get to 800 before the end of January. I know it's a tall task, but let's make it happen. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And get your merch, phiapparel.co, code Underground for 10% off your order. Link is in the description. This has been episode number 307 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned number 9 NCAA ranked. And, of course, viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast. I was in my brain, because Dom filled in on the main pod last night. We were talking a little Water Dogs as well. And he was baffled that we were on episode 606 of the main pod. I was like, we're on our Lilo and Stitch alien grind. Because we're approaching Stitch number. But I was like, my brain started processing through. I was like, is there a 307 alien from Lilo and Stitch?
I don't think so.
And then my brain immediately went to the Sandwich Stacker game that was on DisneyChannel.com. Real ones know that one. But this has been episode 307 of OTB. For Deej, I'm KB. We'll catch you guys next week. Enjoy this weekend of lacrosse. If you're going to be at the Wells Fargo Center, come say what's up. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.